Alright guys, here is the 2015 Ford Mustang 2.3 EcoBoost. And thought I'd make a video of this car here, what I've found out about it, driven it for a little while, and kind of the things that stood out to me, what I liked, disliked, etc. Take it out for a little drive. But it's an all-new body style. Personally, I love the way that they've done the front end. It looks very much like a horse. My sister studies equestrian science, so I'm around horses more than I would normally be if I was just me, myself, and I. And I have to say that the front end of this car does resemble a horse. And that's one of the things that kind of stood out to me. Love the three little LED light strips there. That really makes the car look good. And these have got the HIDs, so it's got kind of the bluish, clear, a little more like a bluish white light, and it looks really good at night especially. This one has the keyless entry. I say keyless entry, it's you don't need to push the button on the key fob to open the door. If you lock it, keep the key in your pocket, grab the handle, it automatically unlocks for you. It has a remote start. And one of the funniest things about this is when you start this thing up, it sounds like an import. It really does. But on the inside, it's not that bad. And I say it sounds like an import because that's one of the things I was told when I started up. It's like, oh, it sounds like a Toyota. Well, it is a 4-cylinder. And this has got the sequential brakes and turn signals. That looks cool whenever they're activated. It's just an all-around great looking car. I personally love the way it looks. Let's take a look under the hood. And whenever you use the auto start or the remote start feature, you have to first start the engine by depressing the brake and pushing the start button there. I say start the engine, it's already running, but turn the vehicle on basically before you can pop the hood. Otherwise, if you go to pop the hood with just remote start being used, it'll shut the engine off immediately. And of course, you've got the Microsoft Sync touchscreen radio climate control system here. It's okay. I personally like the Chevrolet MyLink better, but this has its pros as well. I like the layout of the Sync better, but the MyLink is a lot more reliable with Bluetooth and other features as such. And one of the cool things I like too that Ford does with their vehicles is they've got these ambient lights, and you can change the color and intensity. It just makes the car look really cool, especially at night. You can change the color of the instrument gauges there, and the tachometer turns red whenever it redlines. That's at night, but that's another cool feature as well. And one thing I don't like is how they've got all this plastic chrome here. When I first got in this vehicle, I really thought it was going to be actual chrome or like a metallic button here, but these are all plastic. And I know it's just a thing with me, but I prefer like that actual metal look. But oh well, that's how most things are these days. It still looks really cool. You got your traction control button here, hazard switch. This button here adjusts the steering wheel feel, as you can see there. Basically all that does is it changes how it feels. When you put it in sport mode, it tightens up, and when you put it in comfort mode, it loosens the steering a little bit, and then normal is just, well, like I said, normal. Then you've got different driving modes. You've got normal drive mode, sport mode, which will enable different track features on the menu here, as I'll show you in just a second. As you can see, you've got your acceleration timer, brake performance, and you can see how you're performing. And it's pretty cool when you do a launch. I'll do one here later on in the video. It actually has a little tree on the screen. It's kind of neat. And then there's track, which that turns traction control off for you. And there's your track apps once again. And then you've got snow or wet conditions. and then normal. Kind of a little cool feature there. It doesn't make the most notable differences, but you'll notice some changes. Then you've got your sport mode here with your paddle shifters on the steering wheel. Handbrake. And it's got heated and cooled leather seats. If you've never sat in a vehicle and used the cooled seats before, it's pretty interesting. It's something else. Let's take a look under the hood here. There it is. 2.3 liters of turbocharged engine, and it's faster than you would think. It's got a lot of torque too. And again, this is something where people either love it or hate it. Personally, I like it because it's something new, and I love the sound of turbos. I do have to say I don't get quite the fuel mileage I thought I would. I've been averaging about 25. Of course, I've been driving it hard, but I do take it easy on the highway some too. I thought it'd be a little better, but still, considering the car and the amount of fun you can have with it, 25 miles per gallon overall with driving it hard for fun still isn't too bad. Let's go take it out for a drive. Another thing I like on this one, when you put it in reverse, you got a nice big backup camera right there. Gives you guidelines as to where you're heading when you back up. I really love backup cameras. And in fact, they're all going to be mandated. I believe it's going to be required by 2018, I believe, is when they're going to require all vehicles to have a backup camera. Now, before we go here, take a look at some of the gauges you've got here. There's your boost, cylinder head temp, inlet air temp, oil temperature, tranny oil temp, voltage, and your air-fuel ratio. That's fun to play with. And then you've got the readouts there, tire pressures, and your distance empty. Go down here to trip fuel. You've got your fuel mileage, trip 1 and trip 2. Here's your fuel economy, fuel history, cool stuff there. Your track apps, driver assist, different functions there. Some are loaded with more than others. This is where you can adjust all the colors of the lights, different features there. I like keeping it on the boost gauge. That's the most fun one for me. So I'll go ahead and use the acceleration timer here, the 0 to 61, and I'll use the countdown start. Show you how this is used. I'm going to go ahead and put it in track mode here and turn advanced track off. There we go. Alright, so basically all you do is you pull out, go ahead and hit the start button whenever you're ready. Then after you've completed your run, go back to view results, and they'll show as soon as the vehicle's stopped. And as you can see, under acceleration timer, there's my 0 to 30 and there's my 0 to 60. Had a little bit of wheel spin, but 7 seconds isn't too horribly bad. I kind of expected a little bit faster, but I'm sure with a little practice you'd get better at it. Anyways, that's how that works. It's kind of neat. It's a cool little feature you've got there. And of course, the highlight of every turbocharged engine is watching the boost gauge. So, get to take a look at that while we drive here. It's fun to watch. a pretty considerable amount of boost. I didn't think it would be that high, but almost 20 PSI is pretty good. Really brings the engine to life. And then you got the low end torque. And if you listen real close, you can hear the turbo somewhat.